The FCA's new consumer duty takes effect at the end of July this year. Earlier this month, the FCA released the results of a multi-firm review it conducted working with some of the larger firms it regulates to understand how they're progressing with their implementation plan. They provided feedback from this review in the recent Dear CEO letter, and there's a link in the PDF document accompanying this message. The review highlighted 3 key areas that the FCA feel firms should be focusing on as they complete their implementation prior to the July deadline. The first area was effective prioritisation. Your approach to the new duty should focus on reducing the risk of poor outcomes for your customers and trying to identify areas in where you will be furthest away from the requirements of the new duty so that you can act on these appropriately. The second area was embedding the substantive requirements of the duty. The FCA seemed to feel that some of the firms were complacent and rather overconfident about where they were. They felt that their existing policies and procedures were adequate. In reality, pretty much every firm is going to have some work to do, so the FCA are urging you to consider the substantive requirements of the duty to ensure that when you are reviewing your products and services and your communications with your customers, that you identify any shortcomings and make any changes needed so that you can meet the new standards. The last area they focused on was working with other firms. Where you operate with other firms in the distribution chain, you need to ensure that your plans include how you are going to share information with the other parties in the chain. The FCA are quite confident that if you focus on these 3 areas, implementation should be successful prior to the deadline at the end of July. Now, depending on who you speak to, the new duty is either a bolt-on to TCF or a fundamental shift in culture within the firms. We personally think it's going to sit somewhere in the middle. And where you have a strong TCF culture at the moment, you're in a very good position when it comes to implementing the new duty. However, to really meet the FCA's requirements and the expectations, it's potentially going to need you to have a switch of perspective and change your mindset and approach this from the customer's perspective. The FCA want you to put yourself in your customer's shoes. And so you need to be asking questions like, would I be happy to have these products and services provided to me? And if I was a customer of this firm, would I be happy to recommend it to my friends and family? Now, clearly the FCA have got very high expectations and want firms to be improving customer outcomes. They said they will continue to act where they see harm. However, the aim of the duty is fundamentally to prevent harm happening in the first place, to make sure you get it right in the first place. So keeping it very simple, customers need to be at the heart of everything you do in your business, your policies, your procedures and your processes. And you should only be providing products that are fit for purpose and represent fair value. Another key area to success when it comes to implementation of the new duty will be how you demonstrate you comply, how you evidence the required customer outcomes. You're going to need to be able to show that you monitor, test, and if necessary, adapt your processes on an ongoing basis. The FCA have indicated that they may ask firms to provide evidence of their ongoing testing, and as is always the case with the FCA, if it ain't written down, it hasn't happened. So being able to document and demonstrate how you've approached implementation and then complying with the new duty on an ongoing basis is going to be key. Further updates are going to follow shortly in respect of the 4 consumer outcomes, the cross-cutting rules and the new Principle 12. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or queries, please don't hesitate to get in touch.